And as we prepare for the incoming winter storm, emergency officials are preparing too.
News 13's Lauren Brigman is live at the Buncombe County Emergency Communications Office. And Lauren, how are they getting ready?
Well, part of their training as they undergo training for all emergency personnel here is layering up. It's important tips that we should keep in mind, but emergency personnel are also trained in this area. I'm joined by Judd. He's the training officer here with Buncombe County Emergency Communications. Tell us, there's different layers for different conditions, right?
Right. When you're preparing for cold weather, remember the 3 W's. Wicking, warmth, and weather. First you want to do is a base layer of some type of wicking material. Some of the new synthetic materials or wool works really well. Your thermal underwear. This will help pull moisture away from the body, which helps keep you warmer. The next layer is going to be your warmth layer. This will be, and again, wool is a great material. This will provide that layer of insulation to keep you warm. And then your last layer will be your weather layer, okay, which is designed to keep you dry and keep the elements off of you. Okay. In addition to that, you're really important for your gloves and a hat. You want to cover your skin as much as possible, keep from getting frostbite. Things like your toes, your fingers, your ears are most susceptible to the cold weather because that's where blood gets pulled from first. And so keeping them covered is very important. And if you layer properly and limit your time outdoors, you reduce your chances of having some type of cold-related injury.
And for those of us like the emergency personnel that have to be out working in these conditions when the temperatures do drop close to below zero even, how important is it to prevent frostbite? How can you tell if you are suffering from that?
Prevention is the key, is keeping exposed areas covered, but watching the skin, we suggest every 30 minutes you check your fingers, your toes, your ears, your nose. So look for changes in your skin, starting to become waxy looking, starting to harden, showing that the skin is starting to freeze. If you see that and you get warmth as quick as possible, if you suspect you have frostbite, you want to keep it warm and find medical attention because that needs to be examined by a doctor, and because it can turn serious if not treated properly.
Right, and these are some of the areas, I assume, your head, your fingers, areas that you lose heat the fastest, right?
Yeah, the head is the quickest area where you lose heat from, so keeping that covered is important, probably the one big key. But also keeping your hands and your ears covered also for frostbite injury.
So all of these items, important to layer up. Get in your closet if you haven't already and get out all of these items, the wool sweaters, items like the thermal underwear, all come in very handy when the temperatures are this cold, right?
Exactly.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Jamie. We'll join him again in our next half hour. Reporting live in Asheville this morning, Lauren Brigman, News 13.
Absolutely. News 13's Lauren Brigman is live at the Buncombe County Emergency Operations Center. And Lauren, emergency officials have some important information to keep in mind.
Of course, travel is not recommended with conditions like we're likely to face later on today, but if you are caught in the winter storm on the road, they have some items that you should definitely have in your vehicle before you leave the house this morning. I'm joined by Judd. He's the training officer here at the Buncombe Emergency Communication Center, and tell us what are some of the items people should have in their vehicle.
Right, so being prepared is key. So having things like just a basic car kit with jumper cables, flashlight, first aid kit, some snacks, water, so that if you do get stranded, you can take care of your car plus take care of yourself. Having a small shovel to be able to dig out of snow if you get into a snow bank. Something like kitty litter. This will give you traction when you get stuck in snow or ice. You can put it under your tires. That will give you some traction to help get yourself out than just trying to wait to get salt or something underneath there. Right. So that it's small, it's cheap, it's easy to put in your car and keep it there. Okay. Then having extra supplies such as gloves, hats if you get wet. You want to make sure that you have dry stuff to change into. Extra blankets. This is just a small, easy to use emergency blanket. It's lightweight, doesn't take up a lot of space, but it reflects the heat back in. And it's just a couple of bucks at a local store. It's an easy way to do it, or just regular blankets are great too, sleeping bags, things like that. Then having extra clothes. Weather changes throughout the day. This part of the area, you never know what the weather's going to do. So having, being prepared, having extra layers with things to change into if you get wet. Once you get wet, you lose heat much quicker, and so if you can change out of that, that's the best thing to do.
Okay, so wool is the key.
Yeah, wool or some of the newer synthetic fibers are the best. Stay away from cotton because cotton doesn't wick away. It just holds the moisture, and that will pull heat out of you much quicker.
So definitely all of these items good to keep, especially the thermal blanket. If you do get stuck, you run out of gas, you know, that's another important tip. Make sure your car is full of gas before you leave.
Keep it full of gas, and if you do get stuck, you keep your car running, make sure your exhaust is uncovered so it's not coming back into the car. Keep a window cracked so that fumes don't build up and you have to worry about carbon monoxide poisoning.
Thank you, Jamie. All important items to keep in your vehicle before you leave the house this morning. Reporting live in Asheville, Lauren Brigman, News 13.
As we prepare for the incoming winter storm, emergency officials are preparing as well.
News 13's Lauren Brigman is live at the Buncombe County Emergency Operations Center. And Lauren, how are emergency officials getting ready for these conditions?
They are staffed and ready to take any type of emergency call that comes in. We're here at the Buncombe 911 Center, and I'm joined by Jamie Judd. He's the training officer for the Buncombe Emergency Office. And Jamie, tell us, what types of calls do you see during the temperatures as they drop, as they have been? You've already seen a call for hypothermia, right?
Right. We've had recent calls for severe hypothermia, people out in the woods, unable to get back in and not prepared. And so their body temperature drops, and we have to go find them and bring them out and get them to medical care.
And how are emergency personnel themselves preparing? Dispatchers, people that have to be out in this cold weather too.
You know, just getting ourselves prepared. You know, make sure we have our equipment ready. Everything's on the trucks. So extra blankets, heat packs. Then crews are gearing up for being in the cold and wet weather. And so they protect themselves as they protect others.
So when someone does call 911, what types of calls come in here to this 911 call center?
So all calls for 911 originate here, and so they'll screen for medical, police, or fire. And if it's a medical, then they'll start asking questions about what's going on, and they'll start giving advice, but also dispatch the resources that need to respond to that call.
So hypothermia, frostbite, two big concerns when temperatures get this low. What are some things to keep in mind to look for? So
with hypothermia, some of the early signs will be shivering, also may have some trouble thinking, and as it progresses, the thought processes get worse, shivering gets worse, and eventually it will go away, and so as it gets into severe. So staying warm, staying dry is key, recognizing the early signs and getting warm as soon as possible. And then for frostbite, watching your fingers and ears, noses, toes. That way you can keep those covered, but if the skin starts to get hard, waxy looking, yellow, those are signs that frostbite's starting, and you need to seek shelter and rewarm them and seek medical attention if necessary.
Great tips to all. Also keep in mind as the temperatures are below freezing as they are this morning and expected to get even colder. So stay with News 13 as we continue to follow this winter storm. Reporting live in Asheville this morning, Lauren Brigman, News 13.
And preparation is key when it comes to this incoming winter storm.
No doubt. News 13's Lauren Brigman is live at the Buncombe County Emergency Operations Center. And Lauren, there are items you need to have on hand before this storm sets in.
That's right, whether you're layering up this morning or making sure you have these items in your vehicle before you leave the house, we have tips for you from emergency officials. I'm joined by Jamie Judd. He's the training officer here. Jamie, tell us, what are some of these items that you have that all of us need to have this morning?
Right, so being prepared is the key. And so prepare yourself, prepare your vehicle. So prepare yourself, layer up is the key. You've got 3 layers, your wicking layer to keep moisture away from the skin, a warmth layer to add that insulation, and then the weather layer to help keep you dry, keep the elements off of you if you have to be outside at all. Then having your vehicle ready, things like blankets, extra hats, extra gloves. Those are great to have if you get stuck. You can keep yourself warm, keep yourself dry, and then things for your vehicle. Such as kitty litter to give you some extra traction, and then things to keep your car running, extra jumper cables, batteries, flashlights, first aid kits, snacks, water. So if you do become stranded, you can take care of yourself till help can arrive to help you.
And conditions, as we expect, are supposed to be pretty bad. So travel, of course, is not recommended this afternoon especially, but if you were to find yourself in a situation, all of these items can come in handy, and you can find these at local stores, right?
Yeah, just about any retail store will have these items available at a fairly reasonable cost.
Okay.
And so they're easy to get, easy to carry.
Talk about this thermal blanket, how easy that is to store, but how important it is too.
Right, so this is a simple emergency blanket. It's just a foil type material that reflects the heat back onto the body, so and also windproof, waterproof, so that helps keep the heat inside and then keep you dry at the same time.
All very important items to have in your vehicle before you leave the house this morning, and remember to layer up. Reporting live in Asheville, Lauren Brigman, News 13.